Today, we talk about 4 points. First of all, the appropriate length of emails, when to use formal language and when not to use it. Greetings and other forms of address, also some common phrases that are used in emails. So we can talk about greetings and the ways to address people. So for all of these, we'll talk about formal and informal ways. Informal, we've discussed already, dear first name or hi first name is quite common. When it comes to formal language, you may end up, dear is obviously the best one to start with. In the past, it was common to use title and last name. So for example, Mr. Moriuchi. And that still happens, but it's now starting to change more towards using the full name. So, dear Fumio Moriuchi. Can you guess the reason for that? Why there's been a change?
Used to be more like writing letter to like typing email. I don't know.
Okay, good guess. Good guess. But it's actually more about gender identities.
Oh,
right
okay.
Yes, and obviously in English we have the gender titles, Mr., Mrs., Ms., connected to past genders. If it's a person and you may not know what the gender is based on the name, then there could be some misunderstanding there. And also what gender they consider that they self-identify as. So someone that you might assume is a man, is male, they identify as female. So just to avoid that danger, a lot of HR departments suggest, okay, just use the full name. Dear full name. Of course, if they have a gender neutral title like doctor, then that's fine.
Okay. So John, now when we communicate on LinkedIn, I can say, hi John, blah, blah.
Yes.
But if I send you first message, should I write on LinkedIn, dear John McGraw?
That's a good question. I think if you want to be very careful about being formal, then that's the best option. For me personally, I'd be okay if you just said Dear John and used my first name. It's the first meeting. It's okay to be a little formal because you don't know the situation yet.
Okay, thank you. So if you see me on LinkedIn and if you write down message to me first time, do you use which word? I Fumio or Dear Fumio Moriuchi?
Now, of course, I have to think your culture as well. Okay, this person is Japanese. I should use the Japanese way to do it. I suppose I would use the full name just to be safe. Again, because I don't know how comfortable you are with formality. Of course, if you're informal, that could be offensive when you're connecting for the first time.
Okay, so John, thank you.
So we have a number of phrases, including sign-offs, to go through, which we can talk about both formal and informal versions. Even though, particularly in North America, we like a lot of brief emails, it's usually common if it's the first message of the day or first message in a while, maybe to say something friendly. For example, formal versions could be, I hope you're doing well, or how are you, before you get into the main topic. Informal versions would be just, hope you're doing well, or how are things? Then, of course, there are a number of different phrases that you can use depending on the nature and the topic of the email. As I mentioned before, it's very common. North Americans in particular will want to confirm the details of a previous meeting or a previous conversation, indicating that they might use a phrase in a formal way. Following our Zoom conversation last Friday, and a less formal one would be just to follow up from our Zoom chat on Friday.
Sometimes I see people use regarding. Is this also useful phrases?
Yes, I would definitely say that's a formal sound to it regarding the topic. But yeah, that's also quite common. You will also sometimes see that in the subject line of the email, right? So the short version, re, and the colon as well. Short version of regarding. So obviously, one of the most common usages of the email is to give some kind of information. A formal phrase that you could use is like, I'm writing to inform you. So I'm writing to inform you that the budget has been approved. There's a very formal sounding version. Or the less formal one, just letting you know that the budget has been approved. And if you're including an attachment, then you'll have some phrase or sentence indicating the attachments there. A formal version might be, please find attached. Please find attached the presentation notes. Less formal one, very simple. Here are the presentation notes. And then, of course, there are requests. One example of a formal phrase could be, could you please check the notes and share your feedback? Less formal one, can you check the notes and share your feedback? Again, similar phrases that you could use in a conversation as well when you're requesting something. Quick question on your thoughts about please. Do you feel is that very polite or not so polite?
I feel more casual. Like, could you please is more formal.
Yeah, I would say could you please is more formal. And more importantly, it's also less direct. If you use please by itself, as you know, that's very direct. I say, please check the notes and share your feedback, and can almost come across as like an order. So of course, that's something just for viewers to keep in mind as well. Using please by itself doesn't necessarily mean that it's polite. Could you please, can you do that? Those are softer and generally better to use when you're asking for something. And of course, when you're talking about a future event coming up, very often that you're going to meet them in the future. I look forward to seeing you, for example. A less formal one, see you on Friday. You can also use these for if you want the person to reply to you. I look forward to your reply, looking forward to your reply. These are all other ways to indicate that you're looking for a response of some kind. And then that brings us to the sign-offs. And these are, of course, multiple words that you can put in just above your name to indicate at the end. Some very common ones are, for example, best. Best John. Best wishes, John. Or sincerely, regards is another one. Very simple one, thanks. Or another very common one, if you've made a request, thanks in advance.
Thanks in advance.
Yeah, so it's kind of the expectation that they're going to fulfill your request. Could you send those notes over to me? Thanks in advance.
I see.
And then just follow up. Usually when you sign off, in most cases, if it's a relationship you have, just signing off with your first name. Best John. Very simple.
So sincerely is, I feel it sounds like formal, no?
I think there are a lot of different feelings about those sign-offs, but I would say you could really use any of them. For the most part, interchangeably, best, sincerely, regards. Regards sounds a little more formal, but yeah, all of these are quite common, I would say.
How about thanks in advance? Depending on the situation, but it might be a little bit demanding.
Yeah, so that would be one that you probably would want to use with someone that you have a relationship with already.
Okay, John, thank you very much. So today we covered length of email and when to use formal language, greetings, and address, common phrases.
Yes, well, thank you. As always, it was a pleasure to be here and looking forward to sharing more business English with you and all of the viewers here.